I think a lot of us saw this one coming. The Raptors head into Philly on the second night of a back-to-back, which means no Kawhi Leonard. But to add on to that, no Serge Ibaka as well, and we know Jonas Valanciunas is still out. Now, you get Danny Green and Kyle Lowry back. Lowry hasn't played in a little bit, so I wouldn't say he's rusty. He had a pretty good game, 20.6 rebounds and 5 assists as well. He had a pretty good night, but the reason this game was going to be so difficult, and let's break this thing down, because you know what? Kawhi Leonard has been so good for this Raptor team against the 76ers. You know why? He has not let Ben Simmons basically breathe. Kawhi Leonard had been a guy that has glued right to him, and you've heard quotes from Ben Simmons saying it's almost impossible to play against him. Or whatever the quote is. I don't know exactly. I know it was something along those lines. And you look at the two stat lines from the first two games these two teams have played together, Kawhi with Kawhi Leonard in the lineup. It hasn't had a good night for Ben Simmons because Kawhi is tricked all over, making him turn the ball over a ton, and that's that. Also, Joel Embiid, one of the best big men in the league. I got to give the guy credit. He's a damn good big man. No Serge, no JV. You got Greg Monroe and Chris Boucher facing Joel Embiid. Never gonna... I'm sorry. I love this Raptors team, but that is not a matchup you're going to win too often. Joel Embiid had 27 points and 11 rebounds in 31 minutes of work. He was, 10 of 15 shooting, plus 15 on the floor. You had a feeling he was going to dominate. J.J. Redick had 22 points in the game, and he caught fire there in the third and fourth quarter. But, look, I'm not making excuses. Second night of a back-to-back, never easy. This Raptor team, I think, coming into the game was perfect on second nights of a back-to-back. But it's a little bit different having really no size. You know what I mean? And the Raptors did hang around for quite some time. Look, at one point in the second quarter, I think they were up by like 8 points, and we're like, wow, what's going on here? They kind of collapsed there at the end of the half, and they're stuck, I think it's 6, heading into the break. And third quarter rolls around, the Raptors go down by like 16 at some point. They cut it to like 7, but then the 76ers lay their final punch, and that's about all she wrote after that. Look, guys, we kind of, yesterday we talked about Kawhi Leonard possibly playing, and I had my opinion on what I thought should happen. Everyone has their own opinion about it. You know, if you feel like he shouldn't have played because the playoffs are what really matters, that's totally cool. But I thought, you have 3 days off after today. Why not give him a shot? Because you're facing a really good team, you'd love to have him out there. Now, alas, they did not have him out there, and they lost, which I'm not saying, I told you so, because whatever, it doesn't really mean anything at this point. But you saw the impact he makes in a game like this, right? You watch what he did in Toronto against Simmons and against their bigger players. And even on the offensive front, right? The Raptors' top scorer in the game today was Pascal Siakam. He actually had 26.6 rebounds. He shot great, 11 of 21, 4 of 4 from the field. Problem though, or from the free throw line, he was 4 of 4, 0 of 6 from 3, and a minus 21 on the floor. Again, because Siakam was more or less without Greg Monroe on the floor because he only played 22 minutes. Pascal Siakam was either on switches or directly on Joel Embiid quite a bit. And I love Siakam, but that's a lot of weight he's got to deal with when it comes to Joel Embiid. That's why I love a guy like JV, and I love a guy like Serge Ibaka to guard up against Joel Embiid. At least for the fact of, they're better of a matchup than what we saw today. OG Anunoby didn't have quite the game that we saw yesterday. Again, he only took 4 shots. He had 5 points on 2 of 4 shooting, 1 of 2 from 3, so he wasn't terrible. Greg Monroe, he had a rough game. But again, look who you're facing. You kind of expect something like that. Danny Green had 9 on 3 of 12 shooting. Fred VanVleet, 12 on 5 of 14 shooting. He didn't have a great night. Norm Powell had another good one, 13 points, 4 boards on 4 of 8 shooting, 2 of 4 from 3, 3 of 3 from the line. He had a steal. Problem, minus 13 on the floor. Look, this Raptor team, honestly, I don't really look too much into this type of loss. I know Philly fans are going to rip us apart, and that's fine. Let them do that, because Raptor fans, we know. We know what happened tonight. We know who we were missing, and we know how much of an impact those players mean to this team. So, yeah, the Raptors lose to the 76ers in Philly, and they go into the Christmas break on a losing note, but you know what? It's okay. It's okay, because you want to try and find positives. Well, first things first, if you want to look at standings-wise, Denver, who was the other team that only had 9 losses and were tied for first, they lost. So they're at 10 losses, so that didn't change anything there. And as of right now, Milwaukee is losing by 4 to the Miami Heat. Now, will that change? There's like 4 minutes left. if Milwaukee loses, we're still in first place. Doesn't change anything. So you look at it from that standpoint, it's the way it goes, guys. Look, it sucks the Raptors lost this game today. But coming into it, we knew it was going to be a hard matchup to win. And they hung around for quite a while. I got to give this team credit. They were down 16 in the third quarter against a really good team, and the Raptors aren't healthy, and yet they still put that punch in there to cut it to like 7 or 6. But then the 76ers, they just took over, you know, and we kind of had a feeling that was coming. The Raptors do lose by 25. But again, it looks a lot worse than it actually was for most of the game. And for Raptor fans, you got to kind of throw this one away and say, whatever, we lost this one, we weren't healthy, we didn't have our best player, fine, whatever. Great to see Kyle back, great to see him have a good game, because we know how big of an impact he can make on this team, but he did shoot 6 of 16, he was 2 of 9 from 3, you know, he didn't shoot the ball that great, however, he did get 20 points, so you got to give him that credit. And for the Raptors, now, everyone, we relax, we enjoy our Christmas, we enjoy our New Year, Kwanzaa, you know, all that great stuff that you guys celebrate. If you guys don't celebrate Christmas, that's A-okay. And the Raptors do pick this thing back up on Boxing Day, because of course they don't get a Christmas Day game because, well, that's a discussion for another day. They take on the Miami Heat down in Miami, 7:30 tip-off. So Raptor fans, look, you have a few days off. All right, today's 22nd. You have the 23rd, 24th, 25th off. And then on the 26th, the Raptors take on the Miami Heat down in Miami, all right? So, look, forget this game for what it is, all right? And move on from it, all right? You know what? It's going to be a shorter video, guys, because we kind of had this feeling this game was going to happen this way. It sucks, but it's the way it goes, all right? So, you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. You guys enjoyed this video, and you guys just didn't enjoy the game today, but, hey, smack that like button. I do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below, guys. What'd you think of the game today? Also, what'd you think of Norman Powell's performance in back-to-back games? I think he's been very impressive. What'd you think of Lowry in his return back from injury? What'd you think of Siakam, who was arguably the most impressive Raptor on the floor offensively? Also, without having Kawhi, Ibaka, and JV, do you think that, from the way I was talking, do you agree with me in the whole sense of that's how big of a factor they play in this team? That's what I truly believe. But you guys have your own opinions. You guys go nuts down in the comments about that. And Evan and I will talk to you guys probably January 2nd podcast edition. It has not been confirmed yet. That's the date we're going to be doing it. But as of right now, that's kind of the... it's not set in stone, but I can ballpark it about that's where it's going to be. If you guys have not followed up or subscribed to the podcast, guys, links are in the description for the podcast channel and for the podcast itself on iTunes. Twitter is also down below, guys. Follow up, send me a DM, do all that great stuff. And I will talk to you guys Leafs edition tomorrow night as the Leafs take on the Detroit Red Wings in their final game before the Christmas break for the Buds. As they look for their 4th straight victory heading into the Christmas break, which would be amazing. They're right now 24-10-2. Incredible year for the Leafs so far. They're already at 50 points. They're having a fantastic season. You can't let off the gas pedal. Buffalo's right behind you. You can't start, sitting back or anything. You got to keep pushing forward. But right now, you enjoy the Christmas break, and you look forward to the next game. That's what you got to do, right? And as for the Toronto Raptors, guys, they take on the Miami Heat, like we said, Wednesday, December 26th on Boxing Day, down in Miami, 7:30 tip-off, as the Raptors look to get back in the win column after today's tough loss. But they'd like to get off to a good start in their informal second half of the year. Guys, I hope you guys have a very safe and happy holidays. And I will talk to you guys Boxing Day, as we all hope the Raptors get off to a good start here in the informal second half. They had a little bit of a sluggish start, or a sluggish stretch, I guess, going into this. But, it's all it is just another regular season game, right, against the Philadelphia 76ers. Take it, move on, and hope you guys enjoyed this video, and we'll talk to you guys on Boxing Day.